Welcome to day 13 of our Wellness Bootcamp for Quarantine. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke. This is Minke Wellness. And as we're rounding out our 2 weeks, we have a couple more things that I think are useful in talking about. And today is much more of a nitty-gritty practical. I mentioned it yesterday that as we have been going through the process of breathing consciously and of bringing in nutrients and flooding the body with nutrients, bringing in essential oils, and just participating in bringing the body to a better space. That process usually brings with it or accompanies what we call a detox reaction. So the body now has resources it didn't have before. We're getting circulation into tissue that we hadn't before, some massage, some oils, like I said, and that tissue that's been stagnant and maybe hasn't had fluid moving through it as well as it did, the lungs that maybe haven't had areas reached with the breath that we've had now that we've gotten more breath volume and be working consciously on that. So many different aspects of, if we have been changing our diet and improving the quality of our food, which means we're reducing the amount of stressful items the body's dealing with, it now has resources to let go and release and flush out extra toxins that have accumulated. And there's no doubt that we all have a certain amount of accumulated toxins. They come in slowly over time, and the body has a kind of somewhat mysterious process, not necessarily process, but the timing is not always convenient. If those of us who have been through detox reactions at very inconvenient times, know that the body can trigger all of a sudden and let go of toxins. Now, this comes into a discussion that it can be very lengthy. I don't have time to go through all of it. I have many workshops on cleansing. But to summarize some of the best points here, there are things that we can do to help the body cleanse, and then there's things that would block that process, make it more painful, and maybe even have us react negatively with some kind of skin reaction, some kind of detox reaction set of symptoms, which include brain fog, even headaches, can be skin reactions, bowel changes, urine frequency changes that could even be more frequent or sometimes even less frequent depending on the stress, where the stressors are coming from. So while, and like I said, it's a pretty lengthy discussion to try to go through all of the what we would call detox or cleansing, but this is a natural process. The body does it. All the stuff that we've been doing for our Wellness Bootcamp might actually give the body resources to do a little extra. So I want to talk about that. What do we do if we run into this unpleasant or unplanned detox process that we weren't ready for, but the body's like, yeah, we're going for it. And so drinking water is the primary. I know you've heard me yap about that for 2 straight weeks, but there really is no substitute for getting a good deep breath, getting oxygen into the tissue, carbon dioxide out, which reduces the acidity in the body, which will reduce inflammation, will increase your energy levels, decrease your fatigue, just getting that carbon dioxide out of the body. And that's breathing. That's just getting really good deep breathing, and continue to work on that. That is worth working on. And then drinking that water, getting that fluid to flush through the system. And water is your primary detoxer. Water is the universal solvent. It will dissolve the vast majority of things that get trapped in the body. But there are some toxins that are fat soluble, and especially in our modern world, I probably 200 or 300 years ago, this is not a problem. Maybe even 150 years ago, this was not a problem. Maybe even 100 years ago, it wasn't a problem. But fat-soluble toxins they are here to stay. This is a thing of modern science, of modern manufacturing, plastic residues, petrochemical derivatives, chemicals, all the different things, vaporous chemicals that you see, the VOCs, volatile organic compounds that are present in paints and other kinds of products. These are all fat-soluble toxins. A lot of our pollution is fat-soluble toxins. Anthracene and car exhaust, the various types of hydrocarbon gases, alcohols, things like that. These are all fat-soluble toxins. What that means is these toxins penetrate into the fat of the tissue and tend to stay there. It also means that drinking water is not necessarily going to flush those out. So we need a mechanism to help flush those fat-soluble toxins out of the body. And that's where essential oils shine. I mean, in our modern toxic world, essential oils shine above any other source that I can think of for helping with cleansing and detoxing. So today's oil toolkit today, I mean, it's a toolkit in and of itself, is Citrus Fresh. This is a blend of citrus oils plus spearmint, and the power of this to help to cleanse and flush these fat-soluble toxins out that accumulate. They come in on a daily basis, depending on our degree of exposure. Some people more than others, right? We do have the option to reduce exposures for the most part. And so watching out for plastics in our lives and anything that smells, that has the vapor chemical type things. When you're filling up gasoline, you avoid breathing that. Be downwind. Figure out where the wind is blowing when you're pumping the gas, and stand on the other side of the nozzle so that you're not getting that inhalation of the gasoline fumes. These simple things like this that we can reduce our exposures. But now what do we do when we've already got the stuff accumulated and the body now decides it wants to let go? And here's where this can really, really help. Taking this in a capsule and then backing that up. Sorry, I dropped my capsule here. Backing that up with some extra supplements. So it's worth talking here a little bit about some extra supplements. You've heard us talk about sulfurzyme yesterday to help with the musculoskeletal issues that we can have that accumulate inflammation. This can help to maintain healthy inflammation. Sulfurzyme. Present in capsule and powder. Our Super C is a great one to help cleanse, support with the cleansing. And then, of course, we have our Ningxia Red, right? And so we've talked some about each of these, maybe just a little bit. And this is my trio to support detoxing. But there is more, and this is one of the tools that's Citrus Fresh. So I'm going to fill a capsule up like I've done before. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and fill it all the way up. These are citrus oils. They're very well tolerated in large quantities. You can, of course, evaluate for yourself how much you want to take, but I'm going to go ahead and fill the capsule up. And again, what I do, just showing you again, I just rest the top of the oil bottle up against the, and you can see it just filling up there. Just flows in. I don't really even have to count the drops. I'm just going to fill up the capsule. So here is my... and this is a supplement. This is labeled as a supplement. So here's my capsule full of goodness. And as I take this, and I don't really even have to mix it up like this, but the habit is to do that because sometimes I dilute it with some vegetable oil. So, and I love the orange and tangerine that's in it. That's one of my favorite flavors of all time, orange and tangerine. In fact, I like to take this and put it in cereal. Some of those boring organic cereals, the cereal with milk, but you got those really low sugar flake cereals or O's, some of those toasted O's, organic toasted O's. They just don't really have the flavor burst that we remember from Fruity Pebbles and things like that. Well, what I do is I take a couple drops of this. If I don't have Citrus Fresh, then I'll just use orange and tangerine, maybe lemon, and I'll put a drop of each of those in my cereal, mix it up. I use soy milk in my cereal, unsweetened soy milk, and it tastes like Fruity Pebbles. It's like a blast from the past without all the sugar and artificial flavors and artificial colorings and all the rest of that stuff. So just a little side note on that. But this is an awesome way to really boost the cleansing that the body goes through and to flush those out. The orange oil in there has been, orange and lemon both have hepatoprotective. Orange oil has also been shown to protect glutathione levels. Glutathione is an antioxidant inside the cell that gets depleted during detox. So there's some really, really good support, scientific support for using these oils internally. And then, a great safety profile, despite some internet stuff that will tell you otherwise. It's just not true. I've got some videos rebuking the concern for limonene, for example, as a hepatotoxicity. There's not. And then just a great help to the body to help flush and protect from chemical damage, right? That's hepatoprotection or chemoprotection. And so as these chemicals are getting flushed out of the body, not only will the essential oils help to bring those toxins through the lymph system and those fat-soluble toxins out of the body, but it also will protect the organs, the sensitive organs on the way out. A great addition for a wellness program, especially about this stage as we're doing this wellness. We need a little extra support. So don't forget that we've got our Ningxia Red antioxidant support, very, very important for cellular protection. Vitamin C, very important for cellular protection. And then this awesome sulfurzyme as a support for detoxing. And we've got a lot of videos on this one, more information on that if you'd like it. Now, just a note or two on cleansing as we start talking about, if you're having a skin reaction, that's a sign that your elimination systems are overwhelmed and the toxins are not making their way out of the elimination system, out through the bowel or out through the kidneys, or the toxins are in the skin and they came in through the skin and have to leave out through the skin. If that's the case, you can do a lot of soothing with some, castor oil is one way. You can do that, that'll mobilize toxins quicker and get them flushed out. You can do clay and charcoal packs that clay will absorb, they'll pull the toxin out. You can even mix that with a little bit with some vegetable oil, even some with coconut oil, a medium chain fatty acid coconut oil is a pretty good one. And so, putting clay packs on the sensitive areas. And then sometimes, if you're talking about a topical, then reducing the amount of oils that you're using topically might be appropriate if you're having a detox reaction out on the skin. So just a few notes on that as we start to look at a concept of cleansing. Like I said, there's whole workshops I've done on this, but I'm going to keep this short. And hopefully this discussion has helped you understand that, again, as we're talking about the wellness zone, that your body is good and it knows what to do. It's not always a pleasantry. It's not always pleasant what the body decides to do, but it is wise and it's a good thing. And learning to know the difference between symptoms associated with a proper, appropriate response the body's having to toxins, and it's saying, hey, I got to get rid of these toxins. And the inner knowing is that the general trend is still upward, even if you have symptoms, versus symptoms of things that are going wrong, and the kidneys are not functioning well, and the bowels are not functioning well, and we're accumulating toxicity because of that. And that's really a downward trend to our wellness. Knowing the difference internally between a downward trend and an upward trend, even though the set of symptoms might be exactly the same, is a wellness skill. So hopefully you're starting to look at the possibilities of getting that keen and that savvy with your own wellness, your own wellness meter, your own internal markers. So watch for detoxing and celebrate the cleansing that happens when the body decides to let go of these things. And like I said, sometimes a little hard to celebrate it if it happens at an inconvenient time. Hopefully you're at home right now, everything's good. This is a great time to cleanse. Happy wellness, one day at a time.